And I will post. Thank you for joining our class, Legal Research. This is March 31st, and we will be meeting to discuss a few issues relating to our class. I am going to ask today that if you have questions, if you would save them until I ask for them, and or type them into the chat box. That would be much appreciated. If you are like me, you have been in many Zoom meetings, and people opening their mics can cause a lot of feedback and confusion. And so if we have just one person other than me with his or her mic open at a time, it might reduce some of that. There are three things that I would like to do today. First of all, I would like to just remind folks about the midterm exam and answer any questions that there might be out there. I have had some students who've taken it. It seems to be going okay in terms of the mechanics of taking the test. When you look on Canvas, it will look like, let me actually go into Canvas so you can see that screen. When you go into Canvas, it will look like you have until, go ahead, find it. It will look like you have until Sunday, April 5th, and that is true. And if you have a very reliable internet source, then I guess that you can treat that as your deadline. If your internet is like mine at home, it's somewhat sporadic and sometimes weak and slow, I would ask that you not consider the April 5th date. In fact, I just got a note on my computer saying your internet connection is unstable. I usually don't get that. It's just that so many people are using the internet that it becomes unstable. You may have that experience as well. So if you're seeing those types of messages or you think you're having problems, don't treat April 5 as your deadline. Treat April 3rd, the Friday, as your deadline. Because if you lose your internet while you're taking the midterm, it's not the end of the world. What you'll do is you'll send me an email message, and then you and I will arrange a time for me to allow you to continue the midterm. Let's say the midterm fails when you are on question 18. Well, we'll get back together. You'll start on question 19, and however many minutes you had left, you can receive those minutes to complete the test. If you wait until the Saturday or Sunday date, I'm not going to do that. Whatever the grade is at the moment that you lose your internet is the grade that you're going to get. So please don't think of it as being an April 5 deadline. Think of it as an April 3rd deadline. Just want to reinforce that. If you weren't here for one of my previous classes, keep in mind you need to watch it's about a 10-minute video that explains where the password is. If for some reason you can't make that video work, or you just want to meet with me and get the password directly, you're welcome to come to my office hours. I'm having my normal office hours. I'm just going to pull up the syllabus here, and you'll be able to see my office hours are right here. I would be delighted to meet with you. Obviously, I'm not meeting in my office. They're virtual office hours, so you'll just click on this link. It's exactly the same link that you're using right now if you're actually in the classroom. And so you can see I have office hours this afternoon, tomorrow morning, and Thursday afternoon. If those times don't work for you, please just come to my, just send me an email and we'll schedule a time that would work for you. have very open availability these days. I'm not going very far from my desk here. So and it takes about 10 minutes for me to just show you everything that you need to know and to give you the password. And so then you'll be ready to go in terms of completing it. So let me open up the discussion board to see if there are any questions about how to take the midterm. Okay, there don't seem to be. If you think of one as we go forward, then let me know. You're welcome to ask a question later on about it. Now I'm going to go back to Canvas. and we'll talk about the next issue, and that is this lecture here. Let me show you where to find the lectures. I'm posting all the new lectures that I'm doing in the very first module in Canvas. It's called Video Lectures, very clever name on my part, obviously. And you can see here I have that video that explains how to take the midterm. I think I also posted it in the midterm folder. That one may have posted more than once. Then here is a midterm review. If you haven't taken the midterm yet, I think this would be very helpful. Before I prepared this, I went through the midterm, and while I'm not claiming that by any means that I answer all of the questions that are on the midterm, this does talk about most of the topics that are covered in the midterm. And so this would be a very helpful review for you to make or to watch. And then the final thing is that I've posted is the Westlaw #1 lecture. When you choose to watch this, and it's a long presentation, I think it's about an hour and a half, so you very likely will want to break it up, do 15 minutes or 30 minutes. But when you watch this, let me show you what you want to pull up at the time you watch it. You're going to go to Module 10 here, and you're going to see that I have something called the Westlaw Lecture #1 document. Pull this up when you're watching the lecture, and you can see I actually posted the lecture here as well. So this is the same lecture that is up here. Okay, so have this available. My suggestion is also that you do what I do. Don't just watch me do it, but actually do it yourself. What you might do is watch me do the lecture, and then on your own go through the step-by-step handout here and try to see if you can replicate my actions so that you can do it too. Watching someone do this seems like it would help, but it really doesn't. You kind of have to hit the buttons yourselves, I think, to make sense of it, or at least that's been my experience. So now I'm going to open up class to see if there are any questions about the Westlaw #1 lecture. Okay, great. This is going to be really quick, I can see, which is fine. One more thing I want to talk about, and that is that I am going to be making available our next quiz. It's going to be called quiz #8, and you may be thinking, well, we haven't had quiz #7. I'm doing them a little bit out of order. There will be a quiz #7, but I want to keep my kind of historic names for things the same. That way I don't flip out and get myself thoroughly confused. I apologize for doing them out of order. So we will do #7. It's just we will do #8 first. #8 is a quiz very similar to the Rodriguez versus Reed quiz and the Talford quiz. You'll have a case, and then you will answer questions about it. I'm just going to show you the draft of the it's almost completed, but the draft of the quiz. And so I'm going to have to leave student view here for a second. And I'm going to open the quiz structure here. It's virtually done. I have just, yeah, here it is, quiz #8. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. So what you'll see when you open up is the actual, let me do the preview here. Is the actual quiz format. Okay, here we go. Didn't mean to give away any questions there. And so read this and understand it well before you start. If you haven't thoroughly read this and know where to find stuff, then you aren't going to do well in the quiz. I'm not giving you enough time when you're taking the quiz to ruminate and think about it in detail. And the reason I'm not giving you a lot of time is that much of it is going to be looking up definition, or much of it's going to be definitions. And so if I were to give you a lot of time to take it, then you would just Google the definitions while you're doing the quiz. And I mean, you're not supposed to do that, but I'm realistic. That's what many people would do. I'm not blaming you. I'm not criticizing you. we all live in the real world, and that's what people do in many cases in those situations. And those of y'all that, and so I'm not interested in your skills at Googling to get definitions. I want to make sure that when you read cases, you pause and say, what does this word mean? What does dog mean? Okay, you don't have to Google that one. But as you go through this and you see words, what is a summary judgment? What does pretrial mean? What does scintilla mean? What do these words mean? As you read through it, make sure that you look up the words and take notes so that when you come to that question that says, what does this word mean? You will be able to choose the right answer. The quiz only has true, false, and multiple choice questions, so you don't have to memorize any answers. It's open notes, so you can use all the notes that you want. But just keep in mind you won't have a lot of extra time, and that's because, again, I'm not interested in you Googling the definitions. If I were to remove the definition sections, the quiz would be a lot harder. I don't want it to be super hard. I want it to be a relatively easy quiz that if you've read the cases and stumble upon words you don't know, you just look them up. And so you'll be prepared. And so there's that balance. I want it to be pretty easy, but if I make it pretty easy, it does require that you prepare ahead because I can't give you enough time to look up the answers or it becomes a meaningless exercise. Anyway, wanted to let you know about that. I will release this certainly this afternoon, and certainly I would say by 3 it will be released. You will have until Sunday to do it, and so you'll have plenty of opportunities to get that completed. Let me see if there are any questions about that. Okay, there's only one more thing that I wanted to cover, and so let me go ahead and go back to share. And that is where we are on the syllabus. So we are just a little bit behind, not too bad. We are really going to be spending a lot of time now on Bluebooking and Greenbooking. You can see that we've done a little bit on this one, but we certainly haven't completed it. And this week right here is obviously last week, but this is a continuation of the Blue Book and Green Book period of time. We are not going to cover this week. So we aren't going to do a lot of Key Cite and Shepard's work. It is covered a little bit in the Westlaw Lecture #1. So you'll get your kind of big toe in the water, and we'll talk about that. But we'll talk about it in more detail next week. So this week will be about Blue Book. I anticipate posting a lecture on Blue Book and Green Book, I hope before our class on Thursday. Can't make any promises, but I'm hoping that'll happen. Let me show you though the material that you'll want to review for this week if you haven't done so already. So let me just show you that material. It's in module number 10. So here we go. So if you haven't already looked at the Bluebooking PowerPoint, this would be a good time to do so. There's a Bluebooking video, how to cite cases using the Blue Book and Green Book. I posted this, or I distribute this in class, but it's also available for you. This is about Texas writ histories. We haven't really talked about writ histories, but that's something that's important for the Green Book. And then this is more information about writ histories. So that's another more information about that topic. This Westlaw stuff is really kind of out of sequence. I put it here simply because we're covering Module 10 and I posted this lecture, but this one really doesn't have a lot to do with Bluebooking, so it's a little bit of an exception. And then we have Bluebooking pointers. So these are the things you really want to focus on as we are preparing for Bluebooking. I will be releasing an assignment on Bluebooking. I hope to have that ready to go on time for our class on Thursday. So I'll be able to field questions, any remaining questions about the midterm, also about Bluebooking, and about the Bluebooking assignment. So I wanted to get you up to speed with where we were and let you know what the plan is. I expect that we'll be able to get current next week, because next week we will work on digest, but we'll also work on validation. So I anticipate we'll combine these two topics. Digest isn't a particularly big topic, and for lots of reasons it shouldn't take us a lot of time to cover that one. So let me open it up to see if there are any questions. And now if you have any questions on any topics, please feel free to jump in and ask away. Of course, you're always welcome to come to my office hours and ask me personally, or to send me an email message. That will also work. All right, well, I will stick around for about 5 minutes, and if anyone would like to talk separately during office hours or during this, that would be great. But the substance of the class is done. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that everyone's doing well, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Take care.
Miss Groover.
Yes, is this Kiani?
Is where do we like type in the messages if we have a message?
You see the button that says chat?
Yeah.
Okay, if you click on that, then you can.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll see it says type message here.
Uh-huh.
And so you can type right there. Why don't you give it a try just to see? And I see that Robert had a question. How long are we going to be online? Robert, are you asking today, like how long this session is going to be, or do you mean for the whole college? Well, I'll answer both. So let's say your question is how much longer we're going to be online today. I expect that our class sessions from here on out will probably be about 15 to 30 minutes when we meet. And I'll try to post them because I know sometimes people won't be able to attend because of work or other responsibilities. I'm going to be posting lectures, and so I won't try to do the lectures in our kind of normal class session. Um, uh, for lots of reasons, but one of the big reasons is that many times I'll start a lecture and decide, oh, that was a stupid way of saying it, and then I'll start it again. And so I'll save y'all from some of my less than brilliant comments. Not that they'll be brilliant otherwise, but maybe a little bit less rambling. So I won't be trying to lecture during this, but I'll mainly be here to answer questions and to maybe update you about where we are in the course. In terms of Colin's plans for online, they have not told us anything beyond that we will be online through April 5th, which is Sunday. So I know the rest of this week will be online. My best guess is that we will be online past this week, but I have not been officially told that. No problems. Kiani, if you'd like to come to my office hour, or anyone else would like to come to my office hours, I'd be glad to work with you on how Zoom and Canvas and other things work. I know it's a lot to process.
It is.
And so I very much get that, and I really appreciate all the efforts that you're making, and I'm happy to add any value I can. I'm not a computer person either, so I can feel your pain.
Oh
I happen to have a 14 and 16-year-old, and they help me a lot.
I bet. Okay, so your office hours are 2:45 today?
2:25 to 3:50 today.
Okay. And do I need to email you if I'm going to try to get into that?
Not at all. Just come. I will tell you going forward, I would appreciate when you can if you'll email me, not because you need to have an appointment, but this is going to sound weird, but Colin is having more and more meetings than I've ever attended before, and I can't pick when the meetings are going to be, and a lot of times they happen during my office hours. For example, I'm in a meeting tomorrow during my Wednesday morning office hours. What I've done in the past when I have a meeting come up is I would send this blast email to everyone in all my classes saying, hey, don't come during this time. But I'm being invited to so many meetings and I don't want to block your email with a billion of these emails. So if you let me know in advance, I can tell you, oh yeah, that's great time. Or oh, I can't go because of this stupid, not stupid, but this other meeting that I have to attend. So
yeah, it's all new, so I'm like totally. I feel like I'm lost really in this class so far, but
okay, yeah, I don't have any meetings this afternoon, and so just come as you can, and we'll spend as much time as you would like.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kiani.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So Robert, are there any other questions I can help with? Okay, would you like to type them or would you like to turn on your microphone? Either way is fine with me. Great. I don't know. The college will, President Matkin is our president, the president of the college, and he will send out an email. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you that probably you will find out the exact same minute I find out. I do have a meeting, a department meeting with my associate dean today at 11. So it's possible she'll have news to share. If she does have news and I'm allowed to share it, I absolutely will share it with the class. And in my experience at Collin is they don't keep secrets. So, you know, it's not like they'll tell us something and say, oh, don't tell your class. They just don't do that. So I expect that as soon as she knows, she'll tell me. And as soon as I know, I'll be able to tell you. So I definitely think that we'll have an update by Friday. How much before then, I don't know. I wish I did know, Robert. It's not the most comfortable position for either one of us. Yeah, Colin isn't under a shelter in place exactly, but it's pretty close to it. We're not supposed to leave unless we're going to an essential business or we're a doctor or nurse or something like that. And that is such that um, it would be my guess that we would continue online for at least one more week, but I don't know that. But I certainly, I completely agree with you about the concern. Yeah, Collin has, Collin County has over 40 cases right now. I think it's even maybe higher than that. So it's a little bit more populated state, so there may be somewhat more. So you're probably safer in Hunt right now, to be honest with you. Although that can change in a heartbeat, seems like. Oh, yeah. Well, that's important work. My daughter and I were volunteering at a nursing home, and we had to stop that because we were concerned that we could inadvertently expose the folks. We're both healthy, but you never know if you're a carrier. So um, important work to do. Great. Well, it was so nice talking with you, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Take care.